there it is, the Cintas Center on the campus of Xavier University. First time in school history, the UConn Huskies are in Cincinnati to take on Xavier, the Musketeers. And we're taking you right up to tip-off, top of the hour, right here on SNY. As we welcome you, the UConn women's basketball pregame show presented by Cadillac Gary Apple. Thrilled to be once again joined by Kara Walters and the top-ranked team in America, UConn, arguably coming off their best all-around performance of the season. They beat St. John's on Wednesday, 77-32. And Kara, for UConn, it was the big three of Beckers, Williams, and Nelson Adota, who all came to play. They combined for 75% of UConn's scoring in that game. What worked so well for the Huskies?
Think about it. Two starters had 0 points, right? With Nika Mule and Avina Westbrook, and they still won by 45. So when this group is on all cylinders, I mean, there's just a chemistry. There is a pick your poison. Who are you going to guard when everything's going well and they're all offensively able to do things? And the thing that's so great about them is they're all very different players. They bring their own talents and very different, and then yet they complement each other. So Olivia can shoot outside. Kristen's been driving to the basket. Paige can do everything. We know that. So you have these big players putting up big numbers, and everyone's kind of helping everyone. And if one player doesn't have big numbers one day, that's all right. You have Avina Westbrook, or you have other people who can pick up. But when they're on all cylinders and they all bring their own thing to the court, but they complement each other and they have that chemistry, who are you going to guard?
Right.
You know?
And isn't that thing, good teams have great players, right? But that all fit together. The pieces fit together. All of them bring something different to the table. And I think we see that, especially with those three. They're so talented, all three of them.
Yeah, and oftentimes you have that much talent on a team, it doesn't always work well, right? There's selfish people. There is not one selfish person on this UConn team. They recognize they all need each other. For example, their defense has been phenomenal because they all help, they communicate. They don't care who's the star. They just want to win games. And to have that much talent on a team and all get along and all be unselfish, it's pretty remarkable.
It is, and it's fun to watch. And the top performer on Wednesday night was Kristen Williams. She had 21 in the game, and when it was over, her head coach, the Hall of Famer, Gino Auriemma, spoke about how it really was not just her offense that stood out, but her entire game.
We gave her a tough assignment. You know, we had her guard the other team's best player. And when you do that, I think it takes up so much of your focus that the offense just kind of flows naturally. I think if you're distracted defensively, if you're, all over the place on defense and your mind is on offense all the time, you obsess about it, it's counterproductive. This was one of Kristen's best games, certainly the best game she's played this year, because it was a complete game.
I put my focus in the right things, which is defense, and the offense just comes. And that's for our whole team as well. We got a lot of steals tonight, and we got out in transition a lot. I think that's something that we got away from, and we're trying to get that back.
Kristen, what did Coach say to you about the game tonight?
He gave me a compliment.
No way. Come on.
He said, great game tonight. And I'll take it.
Yes, she will take that compliment from Gino Auriemma because they don't come all that often. But, when they do come, I think it speaks volumes, and it tells how pleased he is and was with Kristen Williams. What in your mind was different about her on Wednesday nights?
Well, I mean, Gino's exactly right. She was focusing on other things. When she focused on her defense, her offense came. I have to tell you, I went back and watched the game, Gary. It was even more impressive the second time. She did play one of the best games I've ever seen her play in a UConn uniform, and that's saying a lot. But because she focused on defense, her offense came. Now, the other thing I liked in this game, she started 1 for 4, if you remember, and airballed her first three-pointer. So normally a Kristen Williams could get down on that, right? She continued, she fought through it, 21 points, but she did other things like driving to the basket, not just focusing on shooting her shot from the outside. So she did so many things well, and I think her defense, again, really led to that. If you watched it, she guarded Carrera, the best player on the opposing team, who only ended up with 2 points in that game. And sometimes it's hard when you are expending a lot of energy on defense to then be really good on offense. And she did it all. And that takes a lot of energy and a lot of heart. And that's what I like to see from Kristen.
And how many times have we spoken about the fact that if she is driving the ball to the basket and not settling for even mid-range jumpers, not just threes, but mid-range jumpers, when she attacks the tin, she's a different player.
She is a different player, and she attracts a lot of attention. And then you can kick it out to a Paige Beckers if that's there. But she has some great brilliant moves you don't even realize. So every now and then she'll whip it out and you go, why don't you do that all the time, right? But she is a much different player. I love when she adds that part of a game and doesn't just focus on the outside.
All right, so we're just getting going here on the UConn women's pregame show. Is there something, anything that Paige Bueckers can do to elevate her game? We're going to head in the paint when we come back to address that.
My God.
Oh, we're going
what
in the
was
paint.
that?
How about that? And speaking of Paige, there she is getting ready to face off against Xavier. A little bit over 20 minutes from now. Bueckers coming off, would you call it a modest game? 20 points and 9 assists?
Yeah, for another
her.
day at the office.
For her, right. We're back in a moment. Well, there is Olivia Nelson-Ododa getting set to go in Cincinnati as UConn's going to face off against Xavier for the second time this season. Olivia had 17.7 rebounds on Wednesday. She shot 70% from the field in that game, so she was firing again on all cylinders. And right now it's time for us to go in the paint, presented by Cadillac, a series of fast-paced questions of which Kara Walters has not been previously briefed on. So are you ready, Ms. Walters?
Why do you do this to me,
Yes,
Gary?
indeed. Paige Bueckers shooting it at 56% on threes this season. That's the best in college basketball, but she's only taking 4 per game. Should she be shooting more threes?
Yes.
Yes?
She should be shooting more threes, and Gino's giving her the green light from day one. So if you have that kind of percentage, why? Just shoot, Paige.
She's got a pretty smooth jumper right there.
She's got a really smooth jumper. And from way downtown,
Yeah.
too. She can step to, like, NBA 3 and
can.
still knock it down.
What about UConn playing through the post? Do you think they need to play through the post to be successful? I know as a big, your eyes light up when you hear that, but what's your take on it?
I'm old school.
Yeah.
I like playing through the post. I think that when you play through the post, good things happen. You attract people, then you can kick it out. You just need movement all around, right? Just swing the ball anywhere you can. But I like old school going through the post. I think they collapse, kick it out, and good things happen.
Avina Westbrook coming off a quiet offensive game last time out against St. John. She didn't score in that game, but she did have 7 assists and 8 rebounds. So when you look at Avina, what's her most valuable skill, and what does she bring to this team when she's at her best?
Honestly, I mean, part of that is her energy and her mama-like attitude. She really brings the team together. She'll do whatever it takes to win. So if it means 0 points, but I'm going to do 8 rebounds and assists, all the little things. She's one of those players that sometimes it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but she's a terrific all-around player. And when need be, she can step up, but she also helps with the overall chemistry of the team.
Well, Gino Auriemma has spoken about this being a little bit different of a season. We know that, but the expectations being a little bit different. Normally when it comes to UConn, it's championship or bust. What about the expectations this year? Are they the same?
Why? I mean, it's UConn, baby. That's why.
I know.
That's why you go to UConn
Yep.
to play in these big games. It is champion, and you know what? It's been a while, so I think the people need to see a championship, and that's always the expectation. If you go to UConn, the expectation is we're going to try to win a championship. But, and again, I've said it before, this year's a little different. So it's going to come down to not only physically who has the best point guard or whatnot. It's going to come down to mentally tough, and I think handling the stops, the goes, and that sort of thing. And I think Gino is a genius at helping his team be mentally tough.
What do you call him? A master
puppeteer.
And I think you're on
I don't know
on
if you'd
target
like
there, yes.
that. Maybe it sounds bad, but it's really not. I don't say that in a bad way. I say that he's so good at taking different personalities and blending them together.
Yeah.
As we see this unselfish team, it's working.
So UConn is at the Cintas Center for the first time in school history today. What about the toughest venue you ever played in, be it college, professional, or as an Olympian, a gold medalist for our Olympic team? What do you think? I'm sure you played in some places where they were tough on you.
Playing in Australia is really tough.
Okay.
With the Olympics, it is a tough crowd there.
We can take Australia as a final answer.
Okay, that's my final answer. But there were a lot of tough places to play in the WNBA. There were a lot of tough places in college. Tennessee. That's always a tough place to play. Let's put it out there. Now you're going to have me thinking all day, and I'll go back to this question. But Tennessee, definitely a tough place to play. And Australia, who was a big rival.
All right, what about Gino? We saw him the other day getting into practice gear and getting out on the court. It was entertaining. What about your funniest Gino memory?
I was going to say, something's going on because he never did anything like even close to that back in our day. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Gino, but he said it helped. It lightened the mood. They had one of the best games of the season. But I can't, honestly, I can't. You know, one time he made, and this was not a good thing, but he made us. We were in Italy playing like an off-season, preseason tournament. He made us bring all our plates to the kitchen and clean our plates because we were rude and didn't eat the food and the culture, and that was rude of us. So he said, you will clean your plates and go back in the kitchen and do that. And we were like, okay.
All right, Coach. Yes.
All right,
let's finish.
I'd rather him dress up at practice than make us do dishes, okay? This group's lucky.
Let's finish on this one. We like to get a little bit off the beaten path. Last question here in the paint. What about the current binge watching going on in the Kara Walters household? Is there a TV show you're binge watching right now?
Cobra Kai.
Oh, you love that show.
Come on.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai is the way to go. The Karate Kid, the 80s, Johnny. I'm all about Cobra Kai.
There we go. Kara Walters in the paint. And when we come back here on our pregame broadcast, UConn's defense on full display on Wednesday night. And that calls for a trip into Kara's Corner, which is where we are heading when we come back in a moment. Kara's going to delve further into what was behind the tenacious D. That and so much more on the way. Cobra Kai. Well, the UConn Huskies put up a season-high 106 points the last time they faced off against Xavier back in December. It was one of 3 times this season that UConn has scored over 100 points in a game. And for more on today's Big East matchup, let's head out to Cincinnati. Welcome in our crew on the call, Alan Bestwick and Meg Como. Guys.
All right, Gary, thanks. So, Meg, as we continue to analyze all these little things about this UConn team's performance, something we've noticed in recent games is the play of Olivia Nelson-Adota away from the restricted area, that out by the free throw lane. How has that step-back game, that outside play from Liv, helped this team and helped her?
Well, there's a couple things. I think she established her presence in the lane earlier this year. She's bigger, she's stronger, she's making aggressive moves to the rim. But as we've seen, she'll come out in the beginning of an offensive set and she'll be wide open from three-point range and decide to jack it up. I don't know if that's necessarily the right shot, but in that sweet spot for her, that, 13 to 15 feet, she's shooting the ball really, really well from there. That'll draw the defense out, and then Aaliyah Edwards can come in the game. Olivia's proven she's a great passer, so she can dump the ball down. If you're a threat to score, you got to keep that defense honest, and then she'll dump it down to someone down low.
Just creates those options you're always looking for. Another trend of late, Avina Westbrook having trouble getting on the score sheet in the points column. She only took 1 shot the other night at St. John's, but unnoticed, she also had, 7 assists and 8 rebounds, helping the team in other ways.
This team doesn't have a senior. She's the closest thing to it. They call her the senior citizen of the group, being the redshirt junior transfer. She's mature. She knows her role, and she knows what the team needs on any given night. She's got such a great finger on the pulse of what this group is all about and what they need. So if they need her to score, like she came up with those huge threes at Tennessee, ironically enough, she nailed them in that fourth quarter. If this team needs her to come down as a guard and rebound, she'll do that. If it's making a nice pass, she'll do that. If it's just getting down in your stance and playing great defense, she'll do that too. She's one of those players that coaches love because she'll do anything. She doesn't care about the credit. She just wants the win.
And you know how this works, Gary and Kara, because we said, Avina's having trouble getting on the score sheet lately. She'll get like 28 today.
Probably.
All right, Alan and Meg, we thank you both. I look forward to your call today here on SNY. So on Wednesday night, Gino Auriemma was thrilled with his team's defensive outing. They held St. John's 32 points in the game. It was their best performance against a Big East team this season. So to take a look at what they did so well defensively, we head over to Kara. She's at the touch screen right now. The latest edition of Kara's Corner. Ms. Walters, it's all yours.
Thanks, Gary. Although UConn is one of the best offensive teams in the nation, their defense has been getting it done for them lately. Often they get points in transition because their defense leads to offense. Against St. John's in the last game, they held them to only 29% shooting from the field, only 2 points in the fourth quarter. We're going to look at why they were so effective. We're going to start with Kristen Williams. She does a terrific job being in denial defense. When the ball's 1 pass away, you deny your player with your arm. She does a good job of that. Then we continue. Olivia Nelson-Dota hands up all over her player, but then she also comes to hedge. This is called a hedge. She comes out to help Kristen Williams. Her player dives to the basket, but luckily she has her teammates in great position to help. If Olivia, she's supposed to hedge and get back. If she's late, her player's going to help her. Avina Westbrook gets over to help her teammate. They get the steal. In this next play, Kristen Williams all over the ball. Terrific job. She follows her player, Paige Beckers. She gets beat, and then you have the perfect double team right here. Kristen's got her foot on the baseline, so the St. John's player can't go by her. She's stuck. She's either going to go out of bounds. She has to toss it in. Her teammate, Aubrey Griffin, gets the interception. Great team help and defense. On this possession, Aubrey's got the hedge again. Great one-on-one defense by Aaliyah Edwards. She's here in the post. Her hands are up. As soon as her player turns in the post, she has to get that forearm off of her, and she has to play defense moving her feet with her hands straight up. She moves her feet, the hands straight up. No shot for St. John's. In this last clip, here you have Aaliyah Edwards fronting in the post. When you front, you're in front of your post player there. So this teammate has to help. So Aubrey's getting ready to help in case this ball goes over the head of Aaliyah Edwards. She's in a great position to help. And what happens, St. John's recognizes this. Now this is the spot you want to go to. St. John's did everything right. Now Aubrey's got to recover because she was in this help position to help Aaliyah. She recovers to her man because her athleticism. She does it on the defensive end. She gets the steal. UConn goes down the other way. If UConn continues to play defense like this, they will go deep into the tournament. Back to you, Gary.
All right, Kara, we thank you for that. Before we go to break, we get a look at UConn's upcoming schedule. It is presented by Town Fair Tire. Just 4 games currently remaining on UConn's regular season schedule. They stay on the road next couple of games. Creighton and Butler, both games to be seen right here on SNY. Still ahead here, Paige Becker is not the only freshman guard getting major minutes for UConn this season. We're going to examine Nika Mule's contributions to this team when we come back in just a moment. Well, Nika Mule getting set to go at Xavier, the freshman guard averaging just a little bit under 5 assists per game since her insertion into the starting lineup back 6 games ago. As we welcome in Maria Marino right now. And Maria, I know you had a chance to speak with assistant coach Shea Ralph earlier about Nika and the way UConn has evolved as a team since she's taken up a bigger role. Fill us in on that.
Well, since she's been more consistently in the starting lineup, the coaching staff is noticing more energy and more communication. That's the value that Nika brings. She's also been described by Coach Shea as an energy giver. She's got that assertive personality, and you can hear her. As Shea was joking, you can hear her everywhere, on the bench, on the court, in the food room, which helps. And now, since she's been playing around 30 minutes, averaging 5.5 points over her last 6 games, I wondered if they feel she needs to score more. And Shea's answer was no, they don't need the points, but what they do need is for her to be a threat, to be able to confidently knock down outside shots and also make plays at the rim, because when she's hesitating, it kind of gives the defenses a break when they don't have to really pay attention to her. That's not what they want. And while she is a true point guard, sometimes she's so focused on getting her teammates shots that she doesn't even realize she has wide open looks. So a lot for her to still work on, but for a player that Gino has called stubborn, she's buying in now, and we're seeing the results.
I think we are. And again, as you're saying, she needs to keep defense true by being a threat to shoot the basketball. We thank you, Maria. I want to ask you about Nika, Kara. You know, when she's at the point, Paige plays off the ball a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Where's UConn better? Do they want the ball in Becker's hands all the time, or with Nika controlling, does it give Beckers more room to free up to do what she does so well. What's your take on it?
Well, it's good to have options like
Yes,
that,
it
right?
is.
I mean, the first response would be like, always keep it in Paige Becker's hands, which I can see how people might say that. However, Nico does free up Paige Beckers to play more of the 2 position where she can shoot, be an outside threat. Nika drives to the basket, can kick it out to Paige. So there's pros and cons to both ways of doing it. Gino depends who they're playing against, depends what options they have. But to have that option is huge for Gino. But I like both scenarios, really. But, you know, for the most part, you want the ball in Paige's hands necessarily, but you don't always want her running the point.
Don't you feel sometimes when it's a half-court set that you want it in Nika's hands and she can sort of get the offense running? But in the open court, I mean, when Paige has the basketball in the open court, they're just an explosive team.
You are right, Gary. I agree with you on that one.
I listen to you. I pick up. There's osmosis here.
I agree. You know, when you're setting up half court, Gino doesn't like to have to set up half court. He likes that their defense is leading to that transition offense. But when they do have to set up in half court, I think that's a great way to Nika kind of direct traffic and Paige score some points.
Yeah, it's a pretty good combination as we close in on game time in Cincinnati. #1 UConn, the #1 team in the land, getting set to take on the Musketeers of Xavier. And we're back to wrap up our pregame coverage in just a moment. Here we go, UConn starting lineup. No changes for Gino Auriemma's squad. Beckers and Williams, Vina Westbrook, Nika Mule, and Olivia Nelson-Ododa, who's coming off a really strong game last time out, 17 points and 7 rebounds. She has been so efficient offensively. So, Karen, I go to see you back at the half. But right now, it's the #1 team in America, the UConn Huskies, taking on Xavier. All the action here on SNY. Here's Alan Bestwick. Alan.
That's a Musketeer, which visually sums up what's different about this year's trip to Cincinnati for UConn women's basketball. Paige Beckers leads the UConn Huskies for their first ever trip to the campus of Xavier University. Olivia Nelson-Ododa and Kristen Williams look to lead the way as the Huskies take on the Musketeers next. Frosty day in Cincinnati, Ohio. You're looking at the Cintas Center, where UConn women's basketball plays for the very first time ever. They take on the Xavier Musketeers in Big East competition. Tip-off is just minutes away. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati with Megan Como. I'm Alan Bestwick. So the Huskies come in looking to remain perfect in the conference competition. And Paige Beckers is like what we have to start talking about, it feels like, because she's leading this team. But something different this time. After the game in St. John's the other night, Paige hit 100 assists on the season. How is she making this team better in that area?
Well, yeah, we know she can score, right? But it's her ability to pass the ball and her understanding of the game is so impressive to me. As a freshman, to come in and be as unselfish as she is, her vision is unbelievable. Knowing when to make the pass, to whom she makes the pass. She makes the right pass at the right time. She knows where everyone is on the floor. She knows what everyone's supposed to be doing. And amazingly, she's got 100 assists. The next player below her, Vina Westbrook, is at 84. Yeah. That's a redshirt junior. She's got a lot of college experience under her belt.
It's amazing. And by the way, the freshman record for assists in a season is 123, something Paige looks sure to make. Let's stick with the freshman. Aaliyah Edwards. Gino has sung her praises lately. Her impact on this team has been what to you?
You know, I just love the way she plays, the physical presence that she brings to the floor. I mean, I think she's definitely helped Olivia Nelson-Ododa get better, but she's got this relentless drive. She's strong. Her offensive rebounding prowess is incredible, puts it back up. She runs the floor well, tremendous defender, nice anticipation. But let's be honest, that block right there, one of the highlights of this young lady in this freshman season. She's shooting 67% from the floor. Gets her freshman teammate Paige Beckers excited as well.
And in double figures in scoring in 5 of the last 7 games for the Huskies. So UConn playing game 3 of a 5-game road trip here in February. This one in Cincinnati. Kristen Williams hoping to have reason to smile at the end of the day, just like she did at that time. UConn and Xavier tip off next. Our starting lineups for today's game between UConn and Xavier, presented by Subaru. For the Huskies, the 6th straight game. They will be the same starting 5 with Nika Mule in, along with Beckers, Williams, Westbrook, and Nelson Adota. For Xavier, the one to watch is number 1, Nia Clark. She was the only Musketeer in double figures in the first matchup of the season between these two teams. We almost don't have one of these graphic templates big enough for all of Paige Becker's stats that we need to elaborate on. Look at those numbers.
It's just spectacular for such a young player to have come in and to have really dominated like she has in her first, 4 months of college basketball. It's remarkable.
Well, Becker's looking to lead the way for the Huskies today in their national flag blue road uniforms. Xavier in the home whites. And the Huskies win the opening tip. Limited number of fans in the building today. We've got cheerleaders in the building.
And this is, it feels like the old days.
You can remember those?
Yeah, barely.
Last season seems like forever ago. Kristen Williams. There's Aaliyah Dunham, who handles the ball for Xavier. Inside, Kay Satterfield, defended by Nelson Adota.
That's a tough move. That kid is tough to guard. She's got quick moves in the lane.
Mule wide open. Missed everything. Well, that won't please the head coach, Gino Auriemma, here seeking career win number 1,109. 88.6% career winning percentage. That is amazing. Nia Clark with the ball. Here's Ariana Gray. Good defense by Westbrook, reading the cut by Clark. Nelson Adota gets the pass and the bucket.
Terrific play from start to finish by Evina Westbrook. The nice anticipation, handing the passing lane, and then a perfect pass on the break.
I think we were just talking about that a couple of minutes ago, about her contributions off the score sheet. Nice run to the rim by Clark over Kristen Williams defending. Beckers gets fed by Mule, the bucket and the foul.
Really good communication by the two freshmen there, Mule to Beckers, the back cut. They're overplaying it on the wing. What a smart play. And look how she uses her body. Watch Paige Beckers. Watch her use her body to create that contact, protect the ball, and make the bucket and get to the line.
The numbers on the season for Beckers. Missed the free throw. By the way, the foul on Aaliyah Dunham for Xavier. They had some foul trouble in the game up at Storrs in December. Gray to Satterfield. Missed the shot. Beckers to a running Nelson Adota. Got it.
Nelson Adota doing a fabulous job of running the floor.
Lauren Wasleson misses from outside. Nelson Adota there for the rebound for the Huskies. There's Westbrook. Lost control, regained. Nelson Adota rolls. Nice play.
Really good recognition offensively by UConn, noticing that Nelson Adota's got the one-on-one. They're isolating it, and they're making them pay.
Musketeers able to break some of the pressure. Here's Wasleson around Nelson Adota. But the shot short of its mark.
Yeah, it's a tough angle. You got to use the backboard there.
Huskies out to a quick 6-point lead. Westbrook fights for the ball, but will be called for the offensive foul.
Oh, yeah, she did foul her. I thought she did. That was a good call.
Interesting that the official standing right there in the shot didn't make the call, but the outside official did. But sometimes it's the angle you see the offending move. Ball thrown by Clark right to the hands of Paige Beckers. Huskies run. Westbrook got cut off and landed a little awkwardly, it looked like, toward the end of the court, but she seems okay as she's running back down. (8-2). 6-0 run by UConn. Here's a shot from outside by Gray that misses. Kristen Williams with the rebound. Tried the long step with the left hand. These two teams met back in Connecticut, and UConn had a 31-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Gray contested by Westbrook, and the shot missed. Beckers feeds Williams on the run. Nice patience.
What vision. The Beckers came up hobbling.
Yeah. Timeout by Xavier. Paige Beckers not comfortable. Not something we want to see. We'll keep our eye on it. 10-2 Huskies. So a live look at the UConn huddle. Paige Beckers has gotten up out of the chairs that the players in the game.
She did try to sit there.
She sat and Gino talked to her, and then she got up and Aaliyah Edwards
Watch
sat
her
down.
right foot. See, she just twists it after she makes that pass. She has twisted this ankle a few times. See, here again, boom. She immediately came up wincing and just tweaked it. You know, it's those nagging injuries that, and you can tell it hurts, but she's frustrated.
Yeah.
There was no one near her. It was a great pass.
Now, Beckers will go to the bench with 6 minutes to go in this first quarter. And Aaliyah Edwards will come into the game. No medical attention to Paige so far, but Gino there talking to her right now.
I saw the trainer, Janelle Francisco, go over and talk to her when she tried to stay in the game. I'm sure Paige is one of those players that doesn't want to talk to the training staff too much.
Yeah, Janelle's there with her now, too, over on the bench briefly. So, timeout was taken by Xavier after the difficult start to their game. Musketeers shooting only 14% through the first 4 minutes. An average that will not be helped by that missed outside shot by Nia Clark.
Well, UConn's defense just makes it so difficult to run your offense, get good looks. You know, to do anything uncontested is very difficult against their defense.
I believe I did mention it was Aaliyah Edwards that was going into the ball game for UConn. If I didn't, I just did. Mule tries to cut inside and gets hooked on the foot of Sarah Leyendecker, but that'll be a foul on the Xavier player. That'll be her first. So 3 of the starting 5 for Xavier are now on the bench and subs in. Leyendecker is in. Megan Harkey is in. And those are 2 of the taller players in the Musketeer lineup, so trying to slow down that Olivia Nelson-Adota inside game, perhaps.
Yeah, Nelson-Adota and Aaliyah Edwards, a formidable duo. What a pass, though, from Nelson-Adota to Avina Westbrook.
And Westbrook playing off the screener and coming back the other way. 10-0 Husky run.
Can't say enough about the passing abilities, too, of Nelson-Adota.
Shalana Wagner, double teamed, trapped, triple teamed. Gets away from it. Shot clock at 5. Leyendecker, no. Nelson-Adota with the rebound.
Really good team defense there. Lots of communicating, lots of shuffling around by the Huskies.
Edwards posts up, knocked away from her, right to Kristen Williams. No. Dunham tries to work out of the danger, finds Wagner in the corner. Wagner throws a long one up over the top of 2 defenders, and it missed.
Xavier just can't find the bottom of the net.
Over 8.5 minutes since the Musketeers scored their only basket of the game. Nelson Adota for 3. Nika Mule skying for the rebound. Huskies get another shot. Pretty good tussle in the paint between Aaliyah Edwards and Leyendecker. As nice run to the rim by Nelson Adota.
Showing a different aspect of her game. The defender came up to take away the shot. Nice drive, use of the left hand.
You might have caught a glimpse in the background as the camera came up with the ball. Paige Beckers just sat down in front of the scorer's table to check back into the game. Nia Clark.
Nice aggressive take by their leading scorer, Clark.
Ten-point UConn lead as we go under 3 minutes to go in this first quarter in the Huskies' first ever visit to Xavier. Nina Westbrook. No. And now Westbrook will get called over the back, trying to slap the rebound away. So here comes Beckers back into the ball game. She will spell Westbrook, who just picked up her 2nd foul. You didn't think she got out of the game for long, did you?
I think it's good for the UConn fans to see Beckers back in the game for sure.
Remember, it was the Tennessee game where she injured that right ankle and missed 1 game. Wagner tries to feed it outside. Mule anticipates the pass and gets the steal. She'll slow it down and let the Huskies set up some offense. Beckers for 3. She's fine.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it? Oh. What an amazing freshman season we've witnessed. Here's Carrie Gross. Feeds Harkey. Rebound. Tied up as Aaliyah Edwards gets hands in on the ball. Possession arrow will keep it with Xavier. And we get another look at Paige Beckers.
Just no hesitation. When she came back in the game, I wondered if she might, ease her way back in. Nope. Just drain a 3. Just such limited movement, right? There's nothing excess.
Yeah.
Streamline, just catch, shoot, score.
Edwards knocks away the inbound pass try. Xavier will get another shot at it. Yeah, and you just wonder also from Beckers, as you look at Melanie Moore in her 2nd season as the Xavier head coach, trying to get a little something going here for her team before the end of this first quarter. You just wonder with Beckers if that wasn't almost like, hey, coach, I'm fine shot.
For sure.
Right? Here's Satterfield back in the game. Now Clark. 10 to shoot. Works on Mule. Goes right to Nelson Adota's block.
Good help on that back line by Nelson Adota.
Mule has to put the brakes on. Kristen Williams splits defenders off the screen from Aaliyah Edwards.
Really pretty offense that time. Nice take by Kristen Williams.
17-2 run for UConn. That's going to be a foul on Edwards as she got into the back of Harkey.
See, really good job here. They do the little handoff. And that's when Kristen Williams is at her best. Drive hard to the basket. Take what the defense gives you. No one stopped the ball.
So Aaliyah Edwards, after picking up the foul, goes to the bench. Aubrey Griffin makes her debut in this ball game. She defends Satterfield here and gets a block.
Talk about coming in and changing the game. Aubrey Griffin.
Beckers cuts and 1.
How about that upper body strength to get fouled on her right arm and still get the shot to fall.
And another great pass from Nelson Adota.
Yeah, just a great give and go. Oh, her arm wasn't hit. Just really good play, though. This team really has a good feel for each other right now.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Xavier fouls on Carrie Gross, and so we come down inside the final minute of this first quarter. Clark got that one. She has all 6 of the Musketeers' points in this first quarter. On a 6-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Kristen Williams, under, up, and in.
Really good aggressive take by Williams. Really good ball movement by UConn. Everyone moving well without the ball as well.
Mule with the steal. Will get to the rim in time and get the bucket as quarter number 1 ends on that high note. Huskies shooting 60% from the floor, holding Xavier to 20%. Kristen Williams, Paige Beckers and company leading the way. A little highlight reel material from Kristen Williams at the end of the first. Ready for the second quarter here at Xavier, and if you're watching today's game, be sure and tag your photos on social media with the hashtag #BleedBlue. Even though you can't be in the stands this season at Gamble, we certainly want to see what UConn Nation is doing to cheer on the Huskies. 26-6 UConn over Xavier, and a look at Culmo's Court Vision now, brought to you by Yale New Haven Health. Meg?
Well, let's look. Okay, Paige Beckers right here. Okay, watch. As they're running the break, watch her point, because she always knows where everyone is. Aubrey Griffin was wide open. They missed her. But watch, she knows what she's going to do. She's going to pass, see? And now she's back cutting right there. Watch this. And another terrific pass from Nelson Adota. Wasn't a whole lot of contact on that foul.
Enough to draw the whistle and get the extra. And there's Becker's line in quarter number 1. She, along with Olivia Nelson-Adota, leading the Huskies in scoring with 8 points apiece. Kristen Williams has 6. Nika Mule and Avina Westbrook with 2 apiece. Nia Clark has scored all 6 of Xavier's points in what was their lowest scoring quarter of the season, that first quarter.
Yeah, we've seen UConn's defense do that to teams throughout the years.
Weak pass in there, knocked away by Clark. So Edwards, Williams, Mule, Beckers, and Griffin, the 5 on the floor to start this second quarter. There's Aubrey Griffin with a steal. And a strong take to the rim. She'll draw the foul.
That's Aubrey and what she does. Create some offense off the defense. Nice job. Just great anticipation. And then got herself to the free throw line. Always comes in and changes the game.
So a look at some of the numbers on Aubrey. Not sure what that whistle was about, but after a check of the basketball, Gino's talking about, you know, wanting Aubrey to be Aubrey more consistently. And, you know, he said, I'm asking her to do more. And I think she's responded.
She has. I mean, the good thing is she knows she doesn't have to be a scorer on this team.
Yep.
Just play good defense, to be disruptive, rebound the ball, get offensive rebounds. She's capable of all of that. What a physical talent she is.
Satterfield. Now Dunham. Shot clock already into single digits. That's the feed to Gray. Got it.
That was a tough shot. It was a nice pass from Dunham, too.
So Ariana Gray on the board. Good defense here by Nia Clark. Wasselson. No. Mule with the rebound. There's Beckers. Wide open. Couldn't get that one to drop. Rebound by Gray. Here's Aaliyah Dunham. Leads the Musketeers in assists, steals, minutes played. She's the only player for Xavier to start every game this season.
And it's crazy to think they've only played 10 games.
This is a team that has been devastated by COVID stoppages. Gray? No. Rebound fought for and gotten by Edwards. Mule steps inside, dumps it to Edwards, who puts it in.
Mule getting a little bit more comfortable offensively. She's been struggling a bit of late, not shooting the ball well, some turnovers. It was a good decision there to pass the ball.
Gray will draw contact from Aubrey Griffin as she went strong back to the rim.
Nia Clark was complaining to the officials that she got fouled. The official trying to say, no, that was a good block, clean block by the defense.
So Griffin will go to the bench and Olivia Nelson-Ododa will come back in. And Ariana Gray to the free throw stripe, the senior from Cleveland, who was a preseason All-Big East pick. Very speedy, very athletic. A little confusion on the substitution pattern. You're supposed to get that in your home arena. Beckers from the left side this time, no. Kristen Williams with the rebound. Beckers again to Mule.
If Beckers had made her previous shot, or she's missed now 3 in a row, but you know, that hesitation and unselfishness to pass, she should have shot that second shot.
There's Clark. Rebound Mule. Huskies 1 of 6 from 3 in this game so far. Nelson-Ododa will throw up a 2. Kristen Williams knocks the rebound out of bounds.
An interesting decision by Nelson-Ododa to shoot that ball. You know, they haven't, the last couple possessions, they've missed some long-range shots. So I think what would make that man smile a little bit, or not at least look like he's going to get sick, is run some offense. When they've run offense and executed, they get layups.
Dana Westbrook back into the ball game for Mule, who goes to the bench. Edwards knocks the ball away, and here comes Westbrook on the run. End-to-end for the bucket. Huskies have played some very strong, active defense in this game so far. Ball is knocked away from Clark and out of bounds off of Clark.
That was terrific by Kristen Williams, but here, Aaliyah Edwards hits that to Westbrook, and then Westbrook off to the races and finishes. We've seen it time and time again. Defense turns into offense.
3 Huskies out ahead of the closest defender running on that play also. There's Beckers. No.
Really good curl. She's so mad at herself that she missed that shot.
3 of 6 from the floor in this one for Beckers. Here is Clark. Leyendecker, Satterfield cutting and the bucket. Nice play there by Xavier.
Yeah, nice offensive execution.
Halfway through quarter number 2, and UConn's very first visit to Xavier. That ball knocked away by Dunham, and a turnover by the Huskies.
It's a bad angle, and you're thrown it to a guard in that low post. Who's being fronted by another guard.
Rebound on the Clark miss by Westbrook. Here's Becker's on the run. To Williams. Did everything but go in.
UConn ice cold from long range the last several minutes.
Ball knocked away from Satterfield. Here's Westbrook. Becker's got in trouble. Good defense there by Ariana Gray.
Yeah, good hands-up defense by Gray. Becker's just trying to do a little too much with that.
"20-point Husky lead. Here's Gray. Works on Westbrook. Throws up the right-hander, and that doesn't go. Becker's on the run-out pass to Williams. How did she catch that and put it up and in?
Incredible catch by Williams and finish.
The quarterback to the running wide receiver. They don't get 6 points for it, but still, style points, if those count, get lots of them. 22-point lead for the Huskies here in Cincinnati. 33-11 is the score between UConn and Xavier.
They have passed the ball so well here this afternoon. The spacing has been terrific. And I love the nonverbal communication. There's been a lot of backdoor cuts that we've seen. Just the give and go. They have been very fluid offensively, coming together and gelling at the right time. 12 assists on 15 field goals. And Olivia Nelson-Ododa has got 4 of them.
Yeah. Talked about her passing, and that's the statistical backup for it. She's been really solid today. Another area where the Huskies have done really well is transition points. 13 fast break points for UConn, none for Xavier in this game. And you see both teams have been pretty cold on three-point shooting. Shot off from Gross, saved by Nelson-Ododa. Huskies have numbers. Mule to Beckers, to Westbrook.
Beckers almost couldn't get the ball out of her hands quickly enough because she knew she wanted to fire it down to Westbrook.
Wagner defended by Kristen Williams. Trapped. Good strong take to the rim by Gross, but couldn't get 2 shots at it. Third misses. And there's going to be a foul called on Kristen Williams trying to get to that ball.
The assists keep coming. Watch Becker. She immediately knew she wanted to fire that ball down to Westbrook. Good spacing. Terrific court vision.
To be taking in a pass like that and to be able to see Avina Westbrook had cleared the defender, it's good stuff. Leyendecker. First made 3 of the ball game for Xavier.
Almost everybody.
Huskies have only made 1. Becker's cut off. Floats to Nelson-Ododa, just a little bit beyond the pass. Couldn't grab it and get it up and in.
They'll continue to work on that.
Steps. Turnover by Xavier.
UConn's defense has gotten so much better. They're keeping their players in front, sliding their feet. They're not committing fouls. And they're communicating really well. Hedging on that ball screen very, very effectively.
Kristen Williams for 3. There goes one. 2 of 7 on three-pointers in the game for UConn. 25-point lead as we come down to a minute and a half to go in this opening half. Ball on the floor. Kristen Williams comes up with it. Becker's out ahead of the pack. And one.
I thought that was a late whistle, too. Kristen Williams just aggressively grabbed the ball away. And it was the top official, Ryan Burnett, who called that foul.
Yeah, I think not so much for the hand, but for that little hip check.
Yeah, there was the body contact for sure.
Paige Beckers just joining us. Turned an ankle. Again, that same right ankle at about 6 minutes into the ball game. Went out for a little bit, came back in, and has played well. Showing no ill effects whatsoever. Aaliyah Edwards back into the ball game for the Huskies. Westbrook has gone to the bench. Here's Deja Ross. Right to Paige Beckers. Mule. No. Nelson Adota gets the errant ball. Shot doesn't drop, but a foul is drawn. And Olivia Nelson-Adota will shoot free throws. Foul will be on Leyendecker, her second. And that is Wasselson back into the ball game after a spell on the bench. Gross to the side. So Olivia Nelson-Adota against Xavier in December had a double-double, 16 and 11. She's got 8 points and 7 rebounds in this one already, plus 5 assists.
She's just been so active, you know, almost like just very quietly doing her job. But I love how she continues to distribute the basketball. She roams that high post and is becoming such a great passer.
Half minute to go in this second quarter. Dunham with the pullback. No. Xavier shooting just 21% in the game. 6 of 29 in this first half. Shot clock is off. Huskies will set up a final possession in quarter number 2. Beckers. No. Williams got it knocked away from her as she tried to go for the putback, and that will be how quarter number 2 will end. Well, UConn holding Xavier to 13 points. The second time they have held Xavier to 13 points in the first half this season, and the fourth time they've held an opponent to 13 or fewer points in a half this season. 42-13 Huskies at the end of quarter number 2.
Hey, Gino, a tremendous defensive effort by your team that first half. But real quick, Paige's ankle, it was sort of a strange play. No one was around her, but she went back in. She's obviously okay?
Yeah, she went to throw a pass, and when she stepped, she just rolled it. You know, so yeah, it wasn't anything that you know, anybody did or anything happened. She just stepped wrong, and it just turned. And she came out, and I asked her if she'd be ready for the NCAA tournament, and she said, you know, I can't tell you what she said. So I put her back in.
Wise decision, as she nailed that 3 the first time she touched the ball, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, your team passed the ball really well. 15 assists on 18 field goals. Got to make you feel good.
Yeah, yeah. There were a couple sloppy stretches, you know, where I thought we just got a little bit careless. But I think for the most part, you know, we did move the ball really, really well. And our defense has been pretty good, you know, considering, you know, when the other team has a hard time getting the shots that they want, you know, then you're doing a pretty good job defensively. And, you know, I kind of like
I like where we are right now, and you know, so far so good.
Okay, Coach, thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Our halftime interview with Gino, presented by PC Richard & Son. How could I disagree with a Hall of Famer? There was a lot to like in what we've seen in these first two quarters at Xavier. Paige Beckers, Olivia Nelson-Adota leading the way for UConn at halftime. We'll go to Gary and Kara.
It is the UConn Women's Halftime Report. It's brought to you by our local Ford stores. Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters inside Studio 31 here in New York City. The #1 team in America, the UConn Huskies, looking to go to 18-1 on the season. We know Gino liked what he saw in that first half, and I know you liked what you saw in that first half. Let's begin with the unselfishness and the ability to share the basketball at the highest level, Kara.
I mean, 15 assists on 18 field goals. I mean, that's phenomenal. I don't really think sometimes people grasp that because they think, oh, yeah, everyone passes the ball. But nobody passes the ball like UConn. So unselfish. They see the floor so well. And the spacing that has to happen to enable you to pass like that. But just unselfish basketball, the immediately eyes up the floor. And everybody got involved. Olivia Nelson-Adota loved what she brought today with passing the basketball. And look at Paige Beckers.
Oh, my God.
Is that a football pass or is that a basketball pass? Holy cow. So I think the passing was definitely a huge story in the first half and just pretty amazing.
And the ability for Kristen Williams on that long pass, like a wide receiver out there, right, to gather it and then finish at the other end. So UConn looking really good in that first half. 42-13 at the break. They lead Xavier. And the big three getting it done again. Beckers, Olivia Nelson-Adota, and Kristen Williams. So much for a bad ankle, right? Paige comes right back into the game and jacks up a three and knocks it down. Our halftime coverage continues in a moment. Gary and Kara back inside Studio 31. First half stats brought to you by our local Ford stores. UConn shooting it at 51% in that first half, and they held Xavier to 21% shooting. 6 of 29 in that first half for Xavier. UConn just getting it done defensively. Second consecutive game. 32 of UConn's 42 points have come in the paint where they have dominated this game. We'll look at what Olivia Nelson-Adota did so well in that first half when we come right back. First half category leaders presented by our local Ford stores. And there's Olivia Nelson-Adota on her way to a triple-double. She had 9 points in that first half to go along with 7 rebounds and 5 assists. And Kara, right out of the gate, she was awfully aggressive.
Yeah, she was aggressive in the low post, and then she's bringing her shot outside as well. That's what I love about what Olivia did today. She was very versatile. She passed. I like the drive by Olivia Nelson. That's a part of her game we haven't seen often. So she did a good job all around. And man, she's passing the basketball really well.
Well, you love her in the high post, the ability to see the floor and make those sorts of passes. So a great first half for Olivia. Karen and I going to see on the post-game show when it's over. Second half action from Cincinnati following a break.
Cintas Center in Cincinnati, where UConn leads the Xavier Musketeers by 29 in their first ever visit to this campus. Huskies with a very solid first half offensively, shooting 51%, and defensively, Meg, first half was a great one.
Yeah, you know, they've done a really good job. Now watch here, Aaliyah Edwards, right? Her player's going to come up and set a screen on the ball. Watch this. Now she's going to hedge, which means she's going to come out and slow down this ball handler, okay? But what also, if you notice, everyone is watching where the ball is. They know there's going to be a little chaos over here on that pick and roll. Avina Westbrook does a nice job of coming in to help in the lane. Terrific ball pressure. It didn't nearly turn the ball over, but now they take the shot with 5 seconds to go, and it's a rushed shot. UConn done a really, really good collective team defense. Now here again, watch Aaliyah Edwards. Her player's going to come up and set a screen on Nika Mule. Now watch Edwards yet again. Comes out, hedges, slows down the ball, and gives Nika Mule time to recover. It's so critical to be able to hedge, come out, stop the ball. Always good contesting every shot. That's why Xavier, part of the reason they shot 21% from the floor.
They'll contest the inbound pass for Xavier to start the second half. And we are underway with UConn. After today's first half performance, now holding their Big East opponents to 22.7 points in the first half this season. Ariana Gray, now Nia Clark. Clark leading the way for the Musketeers in scoring in the first half and in this season in general. Now the shot clock already down to 10. Lauren Wasleson. Leah Dunham.
Guards doing a good job of screening on every interchange.
Dunham with the step through around the jumping Avina Westbrook and puts it in off the glass.
Terrific heads-up play by Dunham with the shot clock expiring.
Nelson-Ododa almost not ready for that pass from Westbrook. Mule drives, blocked, but the ball goes right to the hands of Westbrook. They'll call that foul on Ariana Gray.
A late call by Ed Zlasky on the other side of the floor. You know, the official, you see him over there on the top of the screen, he raises his hand. I think he saw her left arm flail.
Get pulled back around behind her a little bit. So Mule to the free throw line. Nika struggling a bit with her shooting in these last few games, but finding other ways to contribute.
Yeah, she's just a fierce competitor.
Definitely bringing the energy defensively today. Nice cutoff by Westbrook on Gray. Shot clock running out again. Inside Satterfield. Works Nelson-Ododa. Ball was blocked out of bounds by Nelson-Ododa. 2 seconds to shoot for the Musketeers.
Such a smart play by Nelson-Ododa. Just kept her hands up. She's a lot taller than Satterfield. Satterfield's only 6 feet tall. That's what she's listed at. I don't even know if she's that tall.
Satterfield throws it at the rim. Got it to bounce off iron, but didn't get the bucket. Huskies with numbers. Bad pass by Mule.
Yeah, just trying to get a little too fancy there.
She was looking left and threw it right. Right out of bounds. And they'll go put a new basketball in play because that one might have been touched by a non-contestant. Kristen Williams defending Nia Clark. Pass thrown away. Another turnover by Xavier. UConn has 16 points off Xavier turnovers in this ball game. Musketeers have no points off UConn turnovers. Nelson-Ododa. Foul on Satterfield. That is her first. Williams. Yes.
Nice screen by Nelson-Ododa, too, to free up Williams.
That is a 3. So 3 of 10 from outside for UConn. 2 of those 3 by Kristen Williams. Satterfield going beyond the free throw line. Ariana Gray with a nice athletic tip. Wasleson couldn't put the rebound back, and someone's down on the court. Is that Gray? Yes. Behind the play, and now there'll be a whistle as Ariana Gray is down on the court behind the play.
She was holding her head.
Hit the deck hard right there when her teammate fell over her. So Gray will go off the court. attention of the Xavier medical staff.
Yeah, you can see she said she hit the side of her head on the ground.
Tough.
Certainly hope she's okay.
Yeah. Again, her teammate fell over her. There's Beckers into traffic. And that'll be blocked. Nice job by Carrie Gross to just put the arm straight up, but the ball fell out of bounds off her.
And Beckers is like, what, I didn't get fouled here? She hit the top of my head. I got whacked. It's just kind of an ugly play.
Kristen Williams will draw off contact. That'll be Leyendecker rather. That'll be her third, I believe. And Kristen Williams will go to the free throw line. I remember those 2 games we had concerns about Kristen Williams and what she was doing. What a strong bounce back for her for a 3rd straight game now.
Yeah, because you just, you know, you just stop thinking about scoring. Just think about everything else. Play defense. Do whatever your team needs. The offense will come. She's made some nice aggressive takes to the basket today, too.
15 points for Williams in this game to this point. Excuse me. Avina Westbrook with the defense on the pass intended for Satterfield. It'll be 14 to shoot for the Musketeers. Leyendecker. 6'4" junior from here in Cincinnati on the scoreboard. Kristen Williams left alone.
Yeah, Xavier fell asleep. They didn't see Williams come down on the backside. Nice find by Beckers.
Williams now leading scorer in the ballgame with 17. Leyendecker again. No. Nothing but national flag blue jerseys there for the rebound. Westbrook. Not sure if Carrie Gross got a piece of that shot or not, but it was off the mark. Certainly Xavier with a deliberate pace on offense.
The last thing you want to do against UConn is jack up a quick 3, because then they're off to the races if you don't make it. Yeah. Xavier doing a nice job of being more deliberate running their offense.
Satterfield tried the spin move, wanted the foul, didn't get it. Huskies run. Mule to Williams. And 1.
Nice pass that time by Mule. She had to do the look away. Nice finish inside by Williams. Not much of a foul.
It is the 3rd foul on Carrie Gross. So here is Kristen Williams rapidly tallying up the points in this 3rd quarter. That'll be 9 in this 3rd quarter alone for Kristen Williams. Leah Edwards into the ballgame for Avina Westbrook. Satterfield over the top of Edwards. And Nelson Adota with the rebound on the miss. Gets it knocked away from her from behind. Then Beckers intercepts. And Clark will come up with it and try and settle things down for Xavier. The kick to Leyendecker, who couldn't get the shot to fall. Good rebound by Gross. And jousting for position in the post between Nelson Adota and Leyendecker. Clark outside to Dunham. No. Edwards with the rebound. Nelson Adota draws the double team, kicks to Beckers alone in the corner. No. Edwards tries to get the rebound. Satterfield will tie her up, and we will get to a timeout. UConn adding 7 to its lead in this 3rd quarter. 2 on the score of this pretty play from Beckers to Williams. Kristen, what did Coach say to you about the game tonight?
He gave me a compliment.
No way. Come on.
He said, great game tonight. And I'll take it.
Hey, that doesn't happen often. I've known that guy for 30 years.
Yeah. So I'm just proud that I got a compliment out of him.
Love that smile out of Kristen Williams. That was after the game at St. John's on Wednesday night that Gino called her best game of the season. And she's having another great one today.
You know, when you take the pressure off yourself to think that you have to do this, you have to do that, I think she was so focused on trying to score previously that it kind of got in her head and it made her tight. Just go out and play defense and have fun, and look what happens. She's shooting the ball really, really well.
Got that one blocked, and it'll go out of bounds off of Williams and go over to Xavier.
Yeah, good defense there by Xavier to block that shot.
Megan Harkey, a 6'6" freshman out of North Carolina for Xavier. This is Xavier squad that their schedule has just been decimated by COVID. This is only their third game in the new year.
I mean, how do you get any sort of flow or consistency? I don't know how Mel Moore is doing it, but she's got a great attitude, and it's her second year. She's turning things around here.
Leah Edwards with the rebound and the putback. Let me correct myself. Their fourth game of the new year. They played January 3rd. Didn't play again until January 23rd. Didn't play again from January 23rd to February 17th. And now today.
These kids, I'm sure, are just thrilled to be playing.
Harkey, no. Fights for the rebound on the floor. That'll be a tied-up ball. Possession will go with Xavier on the alternating possession arrow. Yeah, I mean, and talk to Mel Moore about it. Day before yesterday, trying to remember what day of the week it is. It's Saturday. Okay, talked to her Thursday. And because of the way that the quarantine had to be done on campus, they only had a practice with their entire team last Monday, as that one doesn't go, as Clark tried to go strong to the rim. They started practice with 2 players. Then they had 4. Then they had 6. And they only got a full squad practice last Monday.
So how are you supposed to do this? I give Mel Moore and her staff and this entire team credit for just grinding it out.
And she gives a lot of credit to the seniors on the squad for kind of keeping the team together. So here's Nia Clark. Who has been defended for much of this day by Kristen Williams. Remember what a great job Williams did against St. John's best player Wednesday night, Leilani Correa. Nelson Adota gets fouled.
Nelson Adota could have passed that ball to Aaliyah Edwards. I like the aggressive move by Nelson Adota.
It's a 4th foul on Sarah Leyendecker, so she will leave the game, and Ayanna Townsend will come in her place. Our next UConn game on SNY is Thursday. The Huskies travel to Omaha to take on Creighton. Our coverage starts with the Cadillac pregame show at 4:30, only on SNY. Creighton with a big win today.
Yeah, they just beat DePaul. Beat him by 11, 80. I think it was 83-72. Yeah, 83-72.
So Olivia Nelson-Adota leaves the ball game with 11 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 4 from the free throw stripe, and 8 rebounds. 6 assists. It's Gross. Defended, but just a half a second late by Aubrey Griffin. Look at that action in the paint as Edwards tried to post up on Townsend. Beckers throws it, tried to get it through to Griffin. It went out of bounds off of Xavier. Line on Page in this one, 11 points, 4 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 4 from outside, 5 assists. Kristen Williams. Aubrey Griffin skies for the rebound and keeps the ball alive. Oh, miscommunication there between Edwards and Beckers, and the turnover by the Huskies.
We haven't seen that happen too often.
No. And again, the ball into the spectator area, so they will put a cleaned and sanitized basketball into action. Things you never thought you'd hear yourself say on a broadcast. They've been said in this season.
Just glad we're playing.
Without question. Gross. The kick out. Townsend has it stolen away. Mule comes up with the ball for UConn.
Nice active hands by Mule.
Coming down to 2 minutes to go in quarter number 3 in UConn's first ever visit to Xavier. Beckers cut off. Outside the Mule. Has all kinds of time to put up a 3. It was too long. Huskies in this quarter only shooting 4 of 11, 1 of 5 from outside. Gross? No. Rebound tipped away from Harkey, and Edwards, Beckers, Williams. There's a few of those we've seen today.
Yeah, another great pass from Beckers, and another strong finish by Williams.
Kristen Williams showing off the athleticism, fielding some of these long passes to catch and put it up and in. Timeout, Xavier. Huskies up by 39 with 1:32 to go in this third quarter here at Xavier. The #1 team in the country having a fine Saturday afternoon, and our drive of the game presented by Nissan. It's the firm of Beckers and Williams at work.
Well, you know, Becker's head is always up, always looking ahead, and she just makes it look so easy. I mean, exactly, Williams, you know, catches it on the run, doesn't have to break stride.
And we've seen both Kristen and Olivia Nelson-Ododa really running the floor well today and on the receiving end of a number of those passes.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of getting the ball up the floor in the air. And you're right, the post players in particular, but that time Williams just running the floor so well.
Xavier, one of their last 8 shots. That will be saved by Mule to the hands of Edwards. Huskies run again. Kristen Williams will slow it down. Beckers feeds Edwards and 1.
What a pass by Beckers. Just such perfect timing, drawing the defense. She could have taken the 3 from the corner. She could have. Draws the defense. And then Edwards nicely moving without the ball. Finds the open spot in the middle of the lane. It was pretty offense.
So Aaliyah Edwards shooting free throws. Gets the extra. As Avina Westbrook comes into the ball game for Nika Mule. Edwards on this ball game, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and only 1 foul.
Yeah, Edwards has done a really good job of cleaning up that contact in that low post.
Aubrey Griffin anticipates, gets the pass from Edwards, and the layup.
What a great defensive possession that time between Edwards and Griffin.
There's Deja Ross to Townsend for the bucket. Redshirt sophomore from Pittsburgh on the scoreboard against UConn. So UConn playing for the last shot of this third quarter. Beckers Griffin, no. After the clock went off. So the third quarter ends with UConn adding on to its lead. They led by 29 at halftime. That's 42, the gap now. Awfully nice to see the cheerleaders in the building. A limited number of fans in the building here at Cintas Center on the campus of Xavier University in Cincinnati. Although the fans of the home team, well, there's a UConn sweatshirt under there. Yeah. Fans of the home team don't have a lot to cheer about today, as UConn is on track to hold the Musketeers to their lowest point total of the season. And our game reset as we get ready for the fourth quarter, presented by Town Fair Tire. Kristen Williams leading the way for UConn. Nice numbers for Olivia Nelson-Ododa and Paige Beckers as well. And look at the fast break points. The Huskies have had the run game going.
And you know what? It started because they played terrific defense.
There's some folks made the trip, get a chance to see their team in person.
Always a lot of UConn fans on the road.
This the 11th time the Huskies have played in Cincinnati, but the first time here. Aubrey Griffin couldn't handle the pass to get it right up. Knocked away from her by Townsend. This is Michaela Scarlett taking the ball to the rim. One of the freshmen now getting some time. Kristen Williams again. Edwards gets fouled. It's nice to see Ariana Gray back into the ball game for Xavier. 21. Remember, got knocked down, and then a teammate fell on top of her and left the court holding her head earlier in the ball game. She will draw the foul. That'll be her third. Becker's blocked by Townsend.
Good active hands defensively by Townsend.
Deja Ross from Providence, Rhode Island, number 2 is. Went to school at Pomfret. Between players, up and miss.
How did she even get that shot up?
What we've seen so far from Michaela Scarlett, the freshman from the Bronx, is she's not afraid to take it aggressively to the rim. Kristen Williams knocks the pass away. That was Ross? No. Good hands on the rebound by Griffin. Beckers calls out a play. UConn will run some offense. You know, something else I think it's come into focus in these last few games, Meg, is what the postseason rotation is going to look like for the Huskies. There's going to be a foul on Ross. That'll be her second. You know, 7 players have played in the game so far. Now, as we get deeper in, we'll start to see the subs come here, but we've pretty much seen what the postseason rotation is likely to look like in these past couple games.
And Gino likes to play 7, maybe 8. But I think historically 7 has been the number.
Which is how many have played today until just now. Mir McLean into the game. And that'll be out of bounds off UConn. Mir not making many appearances lately.
Yeah, her minutes have definitely gone down, and that, generally speaking, is due to practice habits.
There's Gray, cut off by Westbrook. And I come back to also that same thing. You know, your 7-8 player rotation that you're going to run through the postseason with. Shot clock down at 6. Blocked. Westbrook with the nice block on Scarlett. And the nice feed to a running Aaliyah Edwards.
Well, and she set that up, Westbrook did, by dribbling to the left to draw the defense and then create that space that Edwards ran into.
Kristen Williams defending out high. Ball in to Satterfield. She feeds out. That'll be Wasserson. No. Nice rebound by Westbrook. McLean runs. Gets bumped. No call. Throws it away. Gray shot. Bounces away. Mir McLean with the rebound over Satterfield. Ahead to Edwards. Out to Williams, to Westbrook. Edwards and Satterfield tied up behind the play. No foul called. Official ran up between both of them on the way back up the court, the trail official, and just kind of clapped his hands like, hey, let's go. Here's Gray. Cut off by Edwards. Shot clock at 5. That'll be a 5-second call or a 3-second call in the lane. I couldn't see the signal from the far end of the court. So Paige Beckers exits the ball game, and Nika Mühl comes back in. Beckers, 4 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 5 from 3, 7 assists, 11 points on this day. Remember the scare back early in the ball game when she turned that right ankle again, but came back into it fairly quickly. You can see she's not happy with herself on this day. At least if I read that facial expression properly, maybe she's not happy about being out of the game. Who knows? Westbrook with the nice pass to McLean, who shows some patience and gets the points. Gray with the nice feed from Satterfield.
Really nice cut by Gray. Found that opening in the defense.
I mentioned the Huskies have played here in Cincinnati 11 times. The 10 prior meetings were all against the Bearcats. Cincinnati. All 11 of the prior games here in town were at Fifth Third Arena, where Cincinnati plays. They had a Sweet 16 game in the NCAA tournament there a number of years ago. I believe it was 1998 or 99. Leah Edwards, yes. But the first ever trip to this building. Nice facility.
It's a beautiful facility. And it's nice to see. I think they have about 300 people in here.
Gray. Mühl with the rebound. Dribbles out of some trouble, draws a foul. That'll be on Lauren Wasserson. Yeah, beautiful looking building. I would expect it can get very noisy in here when you have the normal allotment of spectators. And great spot.
Yeah, this place gets really loud.
So Ariana Gray just departed the ball game for Xavier. Lowest point total in a game this season for the Musketeers was 50 against Creighton. You see, we're halfway through the fourth quarter, and they have 24. Mir McLean, strong.
Nice play by McLean, trying to draw some contact, too. I kind of like that the officials are letting the contact go and not calling it.
2 for 2 in the shot department for Mir McLean, and 4 points in her brief minutes. This is Ross. Rebound knocked away by Satterfield. And there'll be a foul on Xavier. I believe that's going to be on Satterfield, and leads us to a timeout. 4:32 to go in the ball game. The score is 72-24. Avina Westbrook running the floor, making the nice dish to Aaliyah Edwards. I'll look at the Big East standings now, presented by Toyota. With a victory today, UConn will clinch at least a tie for the Big East regular season championship, as the Huskies look for what would be their 20th regular season Big East title.
And they have always been incredibly proud of that regular season championship, because typically in a normal year, you know, it's November, December, January, February. That's a long time to play. And to get that championship, that's a sign of toughness.
Yeah, the one and done conference tournaments are a little more...
Yeah, it's just a different kind of feeling.
Unpredictable. Poffenbarger into the game for UConn. Mule underneath to McLean. Has it knocked out of her hands. Huskies will have 3 to shoot when they inbound the ball. So Edwards, McLean, Mule, Poffenbarger, and Westbrook clapping to get her team some energy on the floor here. 3 to shoot. In and up from Poffenbarger. Edwards with the tough rebound, and 1.
Nice aggressive play there by Edwards, tracking down the offensive rebound. Give credit to Poffenbarger for getting that shot off in just 3 seconds. And here it was all effort, right? That 50-50 ball. Edwards just wanted it more.
Aaliyah Edwards has had a really solid game today. Double-double for Aaliyah. Now 14 points to go with 10 rebounds. A couple of assists.
And she's just such a strong presence out there.
Nia Clark. Now Satterfield. Taken strong to the rim again by Carrie Gross. That one came up from her left hip and broke a 7-0 run by the Huskies. Westbrook. Edwards. Put her own miss back. I think the one thing that we've come to really appreciate about this team, Meg, is that this group of freshmen, we wondered, you know, they were going to need to be solid contributors. As Poffenbarger gets that rebound, they were going to need to be solid contributors. Boy, have they been. Westbrook, no. McLean with the rebound, in traffic, she'll be tied up. Possession arrow will turn it over to Xavier.
Yeah, this freshman class has really lived up to its billing. I mean, obviously, Paige Beckers has been sensational. Aaliyah Edwards has been tremendous. But Nika Mule has come on as a steadying, I mean, she's starting. A steadying presence out there. McLean has given some good minutes off the bench. I mean, the future looks very bright for the UConn Huskies.
We have Gabriel into the ballgame now for the Huskies, another of those freshmen. Running left-hander from Carrie Gross.
Gross is certainly feeling it here late.
She's got 6 points. That's second high scorer of the ball game for Xavier. Westbrook with the rebound. Foul as she goes back up. That'll be the third on Deja Ross. The leading scorer for Xavier in the ball game is Nia Clark with 7. So Avina Westbrook at the free throw line. Nine rebounds, 5 assists. And working on her point total right here. That'll be 8 points for Westbrook as she now exits the ball game for Aubrey Griffin. Townsend, pass blocked by Griffin. Ross gets a shot at it. That'll be knocked out of bounds off of UConn. And Xavier ball with 20 to shoot. Meg, if I told you today that UConn would have a 51-point lead, but Beckers would only have 11 points,
I don't think I would have believed
would you have thought that workable?
No. But that just shows you the offensive weapons that this team has. They have lots of different ways of hurting you.
Offenbarger shot off the mark. Mule, tried to feed it back to Griffin. McLean, cut off. Feeds Gabriel, who has patience to take the contact and put it up and in.
Pretty good offensive possession for that group out there right now.
Sure enough. This is Gross. She's got to drive, doesn't she? Nope, she'll feed to Townsend. Cuts, gets the pass, and up and in. Pretty good ball game for the junior from Clinton, Maryland. Foul as McLean tried to go strong to the rim. Our player of the game is presented by Cadillac. How about Aaliyah Edwards in her first career double-double?
Yeah, she just, you know, what I love about Edwards is that she's just such a strong, physical, relentless presence in that low post.
Something hanging off the sneaker or whatever of Mir McLean. Had to be cleaned up. So here is the freshman, McLean. Gets the friendly bounce. Mir 2 of 3 from the floor in this one. 3 rebounds. And a foul on the floor on Piaf Gabriel as she tried to get the rebound. Well, Huskies go home from here at Xavier and then wrap up the this long road swing in February with a trip next Thursday to Creighton. Mule gets the steal, followed by a trip to Butler. And Aubrey Griffin will retrieve the pass and draw the contact on the way up.
Love that unselfish play by Nika Mule. She could have easily taken that ball in to shoot that layup on her own, but wanted to share it with her teammate.
So here is Aubrey Griffin to shoot free throws. Look at that upcoming schedule for the Huskies that I was alluding to. Creighton and Butler, Thursday, Saturday, both on SNY. Then the regular season wraps up with a home game against Marquette at Gamble on March the 1st. Big East announced the tournament schedule. The conference tournament, which will be held at Mohegan Sun. No spectators, unfortunately, for this year's tournament. And Carrie Rose throws another one in.
I don't know if she'd call bank on that one, but she'll take it.
So 19.4 to go in the ball game. Leading scorer on the day for UConn will be Kristen Williams with 22 points. I guess if there's one area of concern out of this whole thing for the Huskies today, it would be the three-point shooting. Not very good on this afternoon. 58.8% from the floor, but only 17.6% from beyond the arc. But it's going to be a 51-point margin of victory for UConn to go to 15-0 in Big East play. 18-1 on the season. Give Gino Auriemma a career win number 1,109 as the first trip to Xavier for UConn is very successful. 83-32, the final score from Cincinnati today. 4 Huskies in double figures in scoring, and UConn holding Xavier to 18 points below their lowest scoring total in any other game this season. Defense was terrific in this one. Just one Musketeer in double figures. That was Carrie Gross. And so next for UConn, again, that a few days home, and then that long road trip to both Creighton and to Butler to wrap up the road schedule for the season. Now 227 straight wins against unranked opponents. And in their 246th week ranked as number 1, UConn goes 2-0. As the win at St. John's on Wednesday and now the win today here in Cincinnati.
Gino, thanks for joining us. I think you got to give Anna the MVP right now for tracking you down. You're a little busy talking to people, huh? You mean this isn't the favorite thing you do on game day?
I mean, it's right up there, but I wouldn't put it at the top. Put it that way.
Hey, a terrific effort.
I was busy admiring Nika's ball handling skills there at the end. And the kid was trying to take it from her, and Nika got all pissy with it.
A terrific effort by your team here today. You know, you have talked about wanting to get your team ready for March. Do you feel like you're getting into that mode?
You know, we've, since we've gotten home and had a few days to recoup, things have looked a lot better. That stretch really took a lot out of us, and kind of ended with that Georgetown game, and then ever since that game, it's been really good at practice to see them, back to their old selves, and it's probably the best that we've been, mentally, this entire season, these last couple weeks. So, we got another week to go. Three more games. I just heard that, Creighton beat DePaul at DePaul, so that's not going to be an easy one at Creighton. And then, get Butler at Butler and come home and play, Marquette. So I like where we are. I like where we are mentally, and I like where, where we are physically. Everybody's in pretty good shape, and I think the minutes are being spread out pretty good, and just see where it takes us now.
Gino, the other night after the game at St. John's, you gave Kristen Williams quite a bit of praise, saying she played a great game. She was guarding Xavier's best offensive player again today, and looked like she did a good job. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think the assignments, I think the defensive assignments, I think put the focus, where they need to be, in trying to be an all-around player, playing both ends of the floor. And, these last two games, Kristen's been really engaged in the defensive aspect of our game plan, and it carries over into the offensive aspect of our game plan. And for a while there, it was all one-sided. She just waited for the ball, and now, you watch her. She's scoring in a lot of different ways, and she's playing defense at a pretty high level. So, if our juniors are really good, which they have been, and if they continue to stay that way, then I think that's that's the winning edge for us going forward. That doesn't mean we're going to cut down any nets for a national championship, but it does help our younger players if those three are playing at a real high level, and they really are right now.
Well, one of the younger players who I thought played really well here today, Aaliyah Edwards, 16 points and 11 boards. Talk a little bit about her development.
Yeah. Well, Aaliyah's a big presence out there. She's athletic, she's strong. She can guard multiple people defensively. She's a really, really good offensive rebounder, and she's got a real knack. She knows the game. And that little 15-footer, if that's going, then that's, wow, it's really hard to play against her. So, you get her and Liv going together, you've got something, you got something pretty good. And there's some games that's what's going to have to happen, against some of these bigger teams. We're going to need the two of them out there at the same time. And yet they can spell each other, too, if we want to go with a smaller lineup. So, yeah, sometimes it takes freshman a little bit, but you know, she's coming around just at the exact right time, you know. And don't get mad at Nika when you talk to her if she doesn't look at you. She has a habit of she won't look at the person that she's talking to or passing it to.
And with that, okay. Thanks, Coach.
This would be like, hey, guys, how are you? Okay. One of those.
All right, Gino, congratulations on the
See
win.
ya.
Thanks for talking.
You got it.
Gino Auriemma after his squad's 51-point victory over Xavier in their first visit here to the Cintas Center. Aaliyah Edwards leading the way for the Huskies. We'll be right back. Final score today from Cincinnati. Huskies 83, Musketeers 32. And our next UConn game on SNY will be next Thursday as the Huskies travel to Omaha, Nebraska to take on Creighton. Coverage begins with the Cadillac pregame show. Note the time, 4:30 p.m. For Megan Como and our entire SNY crew here in Cincinnati, I'm Alan Bestwick. Time to head to the studio back in New York for the postgame show. Here are Gary and Kara.
All right, Alan, we thank you. Stand by. Back to you and Meg at the Cintas Center in just a little bit. So UConn look like the best team in America today. They are the #1 team in the country. We heard Gino say a few minutes ago, you know, last couple of weeks, they've come together. They're playing their best basketball of the year, and you and I both agree with that. What's impressing you the most about what you're seeing from this team?
Well, I like the back-to-back games, right?
Yeah.
Building on the last game, you saw the defense just as good as it was against St. John's. There's no let-up. There's no one particular player that you look at and say, oh, she didn't contribute. Even if they're not contributing offensively, their rebounds and assists. So I like the way the team's coming together. And whatever's needed on that day or that night, that's what they're going to contribute. So I think it all starts in the defensive end. Their defense is phenomenal, and their passing is ridiculous. So that's where you feel the chemistry and how they've come together real well.
Let's hit both those things, passing and defense. Beginning with passing, 26 assists on 32 made baskets. Now, that's not always the most telling stat, but the way this team is sharing the basketball, we talked on the pregame show about the chemistry, right? The pieces fitting together, understanding where your teammate's going to be on the floor and taking advantage of that. What's most impressive to you about the way they're sharing the ball?
I mean, anything between football passes down the full court and bounce passes in the lane. I mean, it's just so impressive, all the different ways they're passing. And not just passing, but the perfect pass, leading their player to the basket, knowing where to get. You want Olivia, you want to get it high. Another person you can bounce past low. So it's not like they're just finding an open person and throwing it. It's smart. It's a basketball IQ passing. And then there's that. I mean, Paige Beckers and Kristen Williams all night long could have done that. So just it shows you, again, the chemistry this team has, how unselfish they are. There's sometimes where you think they're going to shoot and they make the extra pass. This is definitely a team that gives up a good shot for a great shot. And it's just so fun to watch. A good passing team is fun to watch. And you know, teams often have to find their identity as the season goes on, right? You never want to be compared to last year's squad. You want to find your own thing. And I kind of feel like this team is finding their identity. And that is a collective thing. Like, this is a team that's going to do it together. And they're just really fun to watch.
By the way, that baseball pass that you were oohing and ahhing about, Paige Beckers, I mean, that is, we talk about Paige and all the things that she can do. But it is just spectacular to watch the pinpoint nature of a pass, a 70-foot pass like that on the dime there to Kristen Williams, who gathered and finished. Back-to-back games, UConn has held their opponent to 32 points. What's been most impressive to you about the defense?
I like the way they communicate. It seems like such a basic thing, but I love that you can hear it this year. You can hear them talk. And again, we talk about collectively they're going to win a championship, right? Well, defensively, they talk, and it's all together. They're helping each other. Their rotations are good. Their spacing is good. Their hands are up. They get out in the break. Their defense leads to offense, but it's defense in all different ways. Hands in passing lanes up top, good one-on-one defense in the post. There's just so many things I could go on and on about the defense. It's just not one single thing. But the biggest thing is the communication and doing it as a unit.
So on the day, Xavier shot just 25% in the game, and they did not make a three in the game. 0 of 16 from downtown. Defense really big for UConn in this 83-32 victory over Xavier. Let's go back to the Cintas Center right now as we see Alan and Meg. They rejoin us. And guys, focus in for a moment here on Kristen Williams. Back-to-back solid games, 21 against St. John's, 22 in today's win. What's been different in your eyes? And Alan, I begin with you when it comes to Kristen over these last couple of games.
Well, I think the fact that her defensive assignment has been the other team's best player, and a lot has been asked of her, has freed her up offensively. I mean, Gino told us, that the defensive assignments have turned into offense. It's like one of his favorite sayings, right? Defense into offense. And that's what we've seen. She locked down Leilani Correa at St. John's, and tonight she locked down Xavier's best players, and they got almost nothing.
Yeah, and sometimes, and Kara, you remember this from the years ago that you played. I mean, when you're so focused on trying to score and you want it too much, when you just take a step back and just go out there and say, all right, I'm going to play defense. This is what I'm going to focus on. All the other stuff ends up coming, and I think it's far more organic that way, and I think it'll be more sustaining because now we've seen 2 games in a row that she's really locked in offensively, and again, it's because of the great defense that she's playing. So I'm excited to see Wednesday at Creighton or Thursday at Creighton to see if she can keep this thing going because it will mean the world to them as they head into the tournament.
Meg, I have an interesting question for you. So 56 points in the paint tonight. Now, I consider there's 2 different types of points in the paint, right? There's the back-to-the-basket post player points in the paint, and there's the points in the paint from the diving and the cutting and all the action that went on today. So the question I would say is, because they're doing such a good job kind of cutting and spacing, do you pull the post players out to leave more room for them to cut, or do you still work it through the post where you have a true post player in there, like Olivia or Aaliyah, back to the basket game, or do you just spread it all out and let people cut?
Well, I will agree with you. That is an interesting question. I was going to interrupt you and say, well, let me decide if that's interesting or not. But you know what? I do. I think it's a great point. And you almost want to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, I think they did a nice combination of back to the basket score. But, to your point, the cutting and all the offense that they got, I think was terrific. They had outstanding spacing. And if teams play them man-to-man, which they don't often, a lot of times teams will just stand in a zone because UConn doesn't shoot well from three-point range. But if anyone is going to play them man-to-man, just spread out and watch the back cuts happen, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking also there's an element to this of take what the other team's giving you. And what you're going to do and what style you're going to make that post play happen is going to depend on who you're playing against and how they're defending you. So spreading the floor out and having the speed, the cuts, the quickness has worked really well. But the nice thing about it is UConn does have the ability to play the other way if it's needed.
Okay, I have another follow-up interesting question for you, Meg.
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
I like it. I like it.
Gino talked about, obviously, Aaliyah and Olivia playing great in the post tonight. They only both got 25 and 24 minutes, so not a lot of minutes. Do you think they should play more together?
Well, I think to Alan's point, I think it also depends on what the lineup is, who they're playing and what their back line looks like. But I think as they go into the tournament, and Gino talked a little bit about it post-game with us, to tinker with that lineup, get them both in there together, have them spell each other. I like when they play together. Olivia has really blossomed into such a spectacular passer from that high post. And Aaliyah, she is not shy. She's going to get in that low post and be big and be a nice big target to pass to.
And I think another aspect to this, Kara, is hedging on fouls. So if you put them both on the floor to start the game and they both pick up 2 quick fouls, now you're dealing with that the whole rest of the game and you lose that option. So I think that balance of minutes in some ways is partly determined by the foul count and how it goes early in the game.
I'm just going to be the mediator here. A very interesting question by Kara and interesting answers. Alan and Meg, from both of you, we thank you guys. We'll see you coming up on
You are good,
Thursday.
Gary.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Time now for our poll question presented by Subaru of New England. We're asking which player besides Paige Beckers is the key to UConn's postseason success. So is it Olivia Edwards or Olivia Nelson-Adota? Vita Westbrook, Kristen Williams. Right now it's Olivia Nelson-Adota who has the lead. Kristen Williams not far behind. We'll have the updated results at the end of this broadcast. Much more to come here as we're just getting going here on this very interesting postgame show. UConn gets the win big, 83-32. They're now 18-1 on the season, 15-0 in the Big East. Complete game highlights. We'll hear more from Gino and have so much more when we come back in just a moment. It's Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters. Here we go. Complete game highlights. Number 1 UConn and Paige Beckers taking on Xavier. And this was a bit of a rough moment, even though they connected, did Beckers and Kristen Williams. But on that pass right there, Paige went limping off. She turned her ankle, Kara. There was concern.
There was concern, but this kid's got ice in her veins. She just hopped off and was like, Coach, I want to go back in.
She was in pain, but again, she did come back. Beckers on the bench. Olivia Nelson-Adota putting it on the deck and then finishing with the left hand. UConn led 14-2, and then Beckers not on the bench for long. And the moment she came back in, she did this.
That's such guts, right? She doesn't ease into it. She just knocks it down.
UConn up by 20 after 1, and then Paige going back doors, finishing and getting fouled on the play. As we watch it again, well, we won't watch it again because in that second quarter, UConn continued to pass the ball very well.
I mean, very well. I mean, the height on that, the strength on back, I mean, perfect, right? Just like a quarterback. Perfect motion, Kristen goes up.
And she stayed right with it and finished through contact right there. And then Vita Westbrook, she's doing a lot of different things on the floor.
She is, and not necessarily scoring a lot of points, but whatever is needed from her team, she's rebounding the heck out of the basketball and passing well.
Then, under 2 minutes to go in the half, Williams fighting through the screen, forcing the steal, and then Beckers ahead of the pack for the basket and the foul. UConn led 42-13 at the break. In the third quarter, it's Beckers to Williams this time.
I mean, all night long, right? I mean, those two were incredible together.
Later in the third, Beckers, and it's the same combination again.
I mean, Kristen Williams, just the chemistry with their eye contact, getting it down there.
Just over a minute to go in that third quarter. Aaliyah Edwards making the most of her 25 minutes.
I mean, she was strong, she was versatile, she did everything out there that was needed of her.
UConn gets the win 83-32. Again, it's the second consecutive game they've held their opponent to 32 points. St. John scored just 32 on Wednesday. UConn put 4 in doubles. Leah Edwards was one of those. She had 16 and 11 rebounds, a double-double for the freshman. And a few minutes ago, she visited with Alan and Meg.
Aaliyah Edwards, a double-double today. Your team with a 51-point win. Tell me what you thought about today's game from your perspective.
I thought we played great. Going further into the game, we made sure making the right moves, making the best out of our possessions, especially defensively. Once we got stops and blocks, we transferred that into our offense, and that kind of gave us a good burst, some good bursts in the game, good momentum.
So, Leah, you do such a great job of hedging on that ball screen out on the wing. You guys really seem to be in a good groove defensively. Do you guys feel it? Like, I mean, we see it. Are we seeing the right thing?
Oh, for sure. We're feeling it for sure, and that's where our energy comes from. So each and every game, that's one of our keys and one of our goals is to just be aggressive defensively.
Aaliyah, your game from when the season started in late November to now, how's it changed?
I think it's changed a lot. I've gotten more confident in just the role I'm playing, what I'm doing on the court, and how I can make the best out of our possessions offensively and defensively, just being aggressive inside and out.
Congratulations on a great game today and a great win.
Thank you.
All right, that is Aaliyah Edwards, and you know she's young. She's a freshman. As we're sitting and watching her right there, and you said, well, she's quiet and well spoken and well thought. out when it comes to her answers, but on the court.
She's a beast.
She is.
Yeah, I know. She seems so sweet. And then she steps in the lines and she's a beast.
She is. And what is it about Aaliyah that you think she's taken this next step forward in her game with?
She's definitely gotten more confidence, right? Finding your role and where you fit in a team, it's hard when you come in, especially there's so many new bodies. Where do I fit in the rotation? And now I feel like she's become so comfortable of doing anything what's needed of her. She's passing the ball well. She's cutting. She's always in the right spot at the right time, not only cutting and scoring, but rebounding. She is just all over the place. She's just one of these people that's going to go find the basketball. And I like that she creates space for herself. She can put the ball on the floor. She's like a big guard and a small big, so she can run the floor extremely well, which I love. So when you have a big that can run the floor, you reward her. There's so many. I could go on and on. You know, I'm a big Aaliyah Edwards
You are
fan,
a big fan.
But I just think she brings so much to this team, just so much. And you're seeing her grow and grow and get more confident. You're going to get more double-doubles out of her.
I would think it's just tip of the iceberg for the freshman. Yeah. And when you pair her with Olivia Nelson-Ododa, it's a tremendous 1-2 punch because they sort of offset each other. They do different things.
Yes.
They have different skill sets. Yeah. The numbers on Olivia today, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. She had 2 blocks in the game. And she really got UConn going. She had a really good first quarter. What are you seeing from Olivia? Because, you know, she had a tough game against Arkansas, the one loss this season. She got in foul trouble. She wasn't in there for much of the second half. But I think since then, she's been a different player. Tell us why that's been the case.
I think she's realizing that she can't take games off. She's like the senior on the team, right? That's the leadership. So it's hard to be consistent. They're young. I mean, this is a young team, and it's hard to be consistent. But I think she's realizing she needs to be a leader, and she can't take possessions off or games off. I love that part of her game when she puts the ball on the floor with the left hand, but she's doing so many things. And she's squaring up in the high post just looking for cutters. So she has a lot of options because, again, the whole team, the spacing's good on the floor. They're unselfish. I love that Olivia can post up, back to the basket moves, and come outside. And that makes a great high-low complement to Aaliyah Edwards. So I think that post-game is just figuring out minutes and, like, you know, it's foul trouble and all those things. Can they play together, right? Like Alan said, or separately? But Olivia's playing at a great rate. Now it's consistency, right? We've seen great games out of her. Kristen's put back-to-back good games together.
Yes.
Maybe this is like a trend now, right? Maybe they're just going to continue from here. Because if they continue like this, I don't.
Don't say it, but say it.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because it'll be jinxed. But I can't.
No, it's not a jinx.
See them not winning a national championship if they play like they played in the last 2 games.
It's not a jinx. This is UConn we're talking about here, right? I mean,
just don't tell Gino I said that because he's really into that stuff.
Listen, he said in his interview with Alan and Meg following the game on the court there, he said, listen, it doesn't mean we're going to cut down the nets.
Right.
But this is the best we've played, and we're playing at a level in which they can cut down the nets.
Yeah, and he said, right, you can't play like in March. You have to play tournaments ready before that. And I think they've gotten to the point where they look tournament ready. Right now, it's just kind of riding the waves of what's going to happen. Is there going to be a stop, a go, a COVID issue, or whatever? So I think at this point today, they're at a great spot.
They are. And I'm just going to say this. We've been together long enough, like 8 years now.
Yes.
There's no jinx.
That's crazy.
I know. No jinxing.
No jinxing.
No. There's no jinxing. Let's get a check of the upcoming schedule here for UConn. They're back in action against Creighton. That game on Thursday. Mark your calendar, Kara. We're here early, 4:30 for the pregame show. And then at Butler. So it's a stretch of 5 consecutive games on the road. 4 and 5 still to come. And then Marquette finish up the regular season. More to come on our postgame show. We'll hear more from Gino, his postgame address to the media. The #1 team in America rolls on 83-32. Back in a jiff. #1 team in the nation rolls on here as they beat Xavier on the road big by 51 points. We get to check final stats. UConn shot 51% in the game. Xavier did not make a 3, and UConn dominating in the paint. 51-30, the rebounding edge. 56-18 points in the paint. Domination over Xavier today. Let's hear from the head coach, the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma. His postgame address to the media right now.
Hey, Coach. So Olivia Nelson-Ododa was on pace to get a triple-double. Aaliyah Edwards finishes with a double-double. How nice is it to have this front court depth? Maybe something that you didn't really have last year.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a huge benefit to have two post players that can both play together, complement each other, and spell each other, and they have different skill level, different skill sets. So, yeah, it's something that we obviously didn't have last year, and you can see the difference that it's made.
Early in the game, momentary injury scare with Paige. How do you manage a player's injury? And I know she's been sort of dealing with it throughout the season, when it's a player that is very insistent on staying in the game.
I didn't see anything. So when I asked her what happened, she just said it just rolled. So she gave me the impression that, it was just one of those things, and it just felt funny and certainly didn't need, any more than she needed. But, players are their own, they're their own best doctors, they know when they're hurt and they know when they're not. And Paige has a pretty high pain tolerance, and she wants to play. So we have to just figure out, like, is it smart for her to play, or does she need to, rest? And, in this case, she said it was no big deal. If it was a real problem, obviously she wouldn't have been able to play, but it was nothing.
Well, the team overall has gotten into a flow, both on offense and defense, the last couple weeks. Is it just a matter of staying consistent now?
Well, that's the key. Going into right now towards the end of February and early March, it's obvious that we're playing a little bit differently than we were earlier. Defensively, we're a little bit better. Offensively, there's a little bit better flow. So maintaining that is not always the easiest thing. But we have a couple of days to, rest, and we don't play again until Thursday. So by the time we get back and we practice a couple of days, we'll have a couple good game plans in, and we have a tough stretch Thursday, Saturday, Monday. So we'll see if we can maintain it for another week.
All right, so that is the Hall of Famer, Gino Auriemma. Anytime Paige Beckers rolls an ankle, bangs a knee, collectively, right?
Yes.
I mean, so much rests on her ability to stay on the floor and do the things that she does so well. But what does it tell you about the fact she had a relatively quiet game today? Yeah. She had just 11 points, 7 assists. Yeah. I mean, she really did control the game when she was out there. But what does it say? They win by 51 points without a monster game from Paige Beckers.
I mean, that's huge. We've talked about how many weapons and how much depth this team has, right? In the St. John's game, you have 2 starters that don't even score a point with Avina Westbrook and Nika Mule. So you have this team that's really interesting, that they can have different weapons, and on any given night, depending on what's thrown at them, if this is needed from Paige, she's going to do that. If this is needed, you don't want Paige to have to score 30 points every night, right? You want to spread it out. They have the nickname now, right, Gary? The Big Three. So the Big Three, when they're on with Kristen and Paige and Olivia, and they're all taking a little bit of the scoring duties, there's a much better team. So Paige shouldn't have to score 30 points a night. If it's a night where she's just going to share the basketball extremely well and only have 11 points, that's fine. You know what I mean? But Paige is doing so many things. She's reading it when she's open and when she's not. I thought it was really interesting to watch some of the plays. She's going backdoor on people, and you know why? Because if you don't overplay and get in a denial with Paige Beckers, yes, she's going to burn you from the outside. So because she's so smart, she's creating opportunities for herself, right? So if you're a good scorer, you become a good passer because people have to commit to guarding you.
By the way, the Big Three, that's Olivia Nelson-Ododa, Kristen Williams, and Paige Beckers. Is that our moniker, or is that...
I don't know.
Is that I know that we've said that.
I don't know who started it. I think we took it from someone else, so we didn't start
It could be our producer, Sean.
But the big three, I mean, come on.
I know, they are the big three. Let's get a look right now. Drive of the game presented by Subaru, and it's Paige Becker's right on cue right here with the football pass. Eyes are up. There's Kristen Williams, the wide receiver, and then finishing at the other end.
Well, and to put the strength and the zip on it, right? I mean, that was no, as we call it with the little kids we coach, lollipop pass that floated through the air. That is zip on that pass and leading her right to the basket.
It is the drive of the game. It is presented by Subaru. UConn gets the win. They're up next against Creighton on Thursday as they look to keep the train rolling down the tracks, and we'll look ahead to that game when we come back and wrap up our post-game coverage in just a moment. Once again, our poll question presented by Subaru of New England, and we asked you which player besides Paige Beckers is the key to UConn's postseason success, and right now you say it's Kristen Williams, those of you who have voted at 48%. What do you think? Carol Walters, are you in agreement?
That's a tough one. I think I'm in agreement.
Yep.
But I also think they need big contributions from the inside with Aaliyah and Olivia. So definitely this team is a collective effort. But I think Kristen Williams, with her leadership and getting on track to be consistent as a role model for this group, I think that's really important. So I would agree with that. But I also think they need some serious help with the big.
Yeah, some beef in the middle, right? Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up our post-game coverage. UConn gets the win over Xavier, 83-32. Again, Kara, don't forget, set your clock on Thursday.
Okay,
we're
early.
Here at 4:30. It's a unique start time, but we get going the pregame coverage at Creighton at 4:30. That's it for us. For Carol Walters, I'm Gary Apple. We thank you for joining us. On the way out the door, sights and sounds of UConn's big win today over the Musketeers.